Imagine a structure so ancient and sprawling that it winds across mountains and deserts like a sleeping stone dragon. Most people picture the exact same three things when they think of the Great Wall of China. It is the oldest continuous structure on Earth. It was built all at once in one massive push, and it is so gigantic that astronauts can easily see it from space. But that orbital view is a complete fiction. Astronauts have confirmed repeatedly that the wall is virtually invisible to the naked eye from low Earth orbit, mostly because the stone blends perfectly into the natural landscape, and it doesn't even form a single unbroken line. This map shows the true layout of the Great Wall. It is actually a highly complex, scattered network of disconnected walls, deep trenches, fortresses, and natural river barriers. Expanding across 15 different provinces in northern China, the total length of all these overlapping defenses stretches an astonishing 13,171 miles. If you laid those pieces end to end, they would wrap halfway around the entire Earth. The pristine, unbroken tourist destination we picture is an illusion. Uncovering the real architectural achievement requires digging into a history defined by constant warfare, desperation, and enormous human sacrifice. To find the actual starting point, we have to go back 2,200 years. China was fractured during the Warring States period, with rival feudal lords building disconnected local earthworks to guard their individual territories. In 221 BC, a ruthless military tactician named Qin Shi Huang conquered these rival factions, becoming the first emperor of a newly unified China. But his northern borders remained dangerously exposed to the Xiongnu, a fierce nomadic confederation launching raids from these vast open grasslands. The emperor decreed that the existing local barricades should be linked together into one colossal barrier. He conscripted over 1 million soldiers, peasant farmers, intellectuals, and convicted criminals into a system of forced labor, building miles of fragile walls out of packed dirt, known as rammed earth. These laborers worked through the blistering heat of the desert and the freezing temperatures of high mountain passes, leading to mass exhaustion, starvation, and widespread death along the frontier. The death toll was so staggering that a dark folklore emerged, claiming those who perished were buried directly inside the packed dirt, earning the massive barricade a terrifying nickname, the longest cemetery on Earth. This early iteration of the wall offered no glorious architecture or sweeping stone staircases. It was a desperate defensive measure built on the blood and sweat of its citizens. The packed dirt from Emperor Qin's era largely eroded away centuries ago. The iconic stone dragon we recognize today was born out of political panic much later, during the Ming dynasty, right after the empire suffered a humiliating military defeat at the hands of Mongol tribes. Refusing to rely on fragile rammed earth, the Ming rulers upgraded their defenses, investing massive resources into manufacturing kiln-baked bricks and heavy-cut stone. If you look closely at this watchtower, you can see the heavy stone architecture and strategic firing ports the Ming engineers designed. They built over 25,000 of these towers along the peaks, using them as military garrisons and relay stations that could transmit high-speed smoke signals across hundreds of miles in a matter of hours. But their ultimate engineering trick was chemical. This diagram illustrates how builders mixed slaked lime with ordinary sticky rice soup. The rice's organic compound, amylopectin, bonded tightly with the lime to form an unbreakable microscopic lattice. This created a mortar so exceptionally dense and water-resistant that it continually repels invasive roots trying to find moisture inside the cracks. Intense military paranoia forced Ming engineers to innovate, leaving behind a stone defense that remains chemically sealed centuries after the empire collapsed. Fast forward to the present day, and the Great Wall stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing millions of global travelers every single year to walk its ancient stones. But the modern tourist experience perfectly mirrors the wall's fragmented history, because depending on where you go, you encounter a wildly different reality. If you visit Badaling, located near Beijing, you will find heavy modern restorations, accessible cable cars, safety handrails, and tens of thousands of tightly packed commercial tourists on any given day. For a slightly quieter alternative, Mutianyu offers a lush, beautifully maintained middle ground, where you can even take a modern toboggan slide all the way down the mountain. Then there is Jiankou. As you can see on this treacherous ridge, this section is reserved only for the most daring and experienced hikers, willing to brave the crumbling edges. It remains completely unrestored. The wildly steep inclines and loose stones make it a jaw-dropping but incredibly dangerous physical challenge. Pushing yourself up those precarious steps requires a specific kind of stamina, echoing a famous Chinese proverb often attributed to Chairman Mao Zedong. He who has not climbed the Great Wall is not a true hero. Whether you're a modern traveler scaling these uneven steps today, or one of the millions whose labor defined this frontier, the wall remains a physical record of the staggering effort required to hold a border for 2,000 years.